Hanging out.
Got it.
Hanging out with the family. All right.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Elzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast a mallow or two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another Bird Brain episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 328, recorded on Sunday, July 18th, 2021. Tonight, we are tackling yet another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by the sensual Michael, and the movie is Birdemic, Shock and Terror from 2010. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randy Gandy G. Landy. What's up, man?
Hey, Bob, what's going on?
Oh, you know, just hanging
I just
out.
put on hardcore radio voice, like real hard.
Hey, Bob,
Jesus Christ.
what you doing?
Man, if this wasn't Morning Zoo before, it is certainly going to be with that voice. Jesus Christ.
We're hanging out with our families.
You know,
Having
yeah,
ourselves
hanging
a
out.
party.
Hanging
That's
out.
what we're doing.
Hanging out with your family. Yes.
Last but not least, calling in from my immediate left, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up, it's your boy? Having ourselves a party. Stains.
With your family.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Yeah, and the
God,
stains
that song gets
Hanging
me
out.
so. That song makes me 6 to midnight. It's so good. It's the sexiest tune on earth.
Dude, prepping for it, setting all our stuff up for the cast, we were just bumping that nonstop. Just bumping it.
It is on Spotify along
Yeah.
with another
Oh
track or
my
two from Birdemic. So you can
Oh, you
find
Are there
didn't
it.
know
more than one
Randy?
track?
Oh.
Jesus
Yeah, there's
Christ.
two
No,
or three, I think.
Hang on,
Oh
let me
my
tell you
God.
what it is specifically, Ray. So for all those joining us, it is Damian Carter
Hell yeah.
from the album Freedom,
Yeah.
and the song is called Just Hanging
What is it?
Out.
What is it? Oh,
Just
man,
hanging
that's
out.
a low stakes song.
Dude,
Hanging out.
it is 6 minutes long.
Dude,
Uh,
one of the lyrics of that song is about his
Shock
uncle getting,
and terror.
getting laid.
Yeah.
at
Oh,
a
is
birthday
it?
Party.
I thought it was gonna
Phil
be-
is scoring.
Uncle Phil scoring.
yeah. Okay. Well, let's save it. Let's save it. We got to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah. Before we get into it, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. We have our August poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this August. The theme for August is weirdo, art house, bullshit. This was Randy's takeover month.
Damn straight.
And let's see if Randy can remember the 3 movies that he chose.
Let's
What
see,
are
it
they?
was Barbarian Sound Studio,
Uh-huh.
Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me,
Uh-huh.
and fucking the third one I always forget.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Kaidan.
Kaidan. That's
Mhm.
right. It's because that was the slot that changed like 8 times before I finally settled on a movie.
Gotcha.
Hey,
Gotcha.
Bob,
Kaidan. I'm making a strong case for it, aren't I?
Hey, Soju.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
At this
Is this a
point,
bit? what was this bit? What is this bit?
how
Where
are
is this
these
going?
numbers ranked so far at this
Mhm.
point within the month? What do they
Did
show?
you say they're
do they do?
aesthetically appealing?
What
How do they
show?
look? In other words.
I've crunched these numbers,
Uh-huh.
and here's where we are currently at.
Can you hit the refresh button real quick on the crunch?
I'll hit the enhance button. Enhance. Enhance.
Okay.
So we got Barbarian Sound Studio gaining. It's gaining on a Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Actually, it's only a couple of
Oh,
votes
really?
behind. So those two are like almost neck and neck now, and Kai Dawn is hanging on back. Nobody really wants to watch that.
I might have
'cause
talked
Randy
myself out.
can't
of
remember
watching
it.
Twin Peaks. Yeah, I'm doing a fucking great job at it.
Because Randy,
Clearly.
I can't remember what it
It's
is.
it's David
Yeah.
Lynch's movie win to lose basically. So
Ah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, don't watch it if you haven't seen the fucking show. And so
That's
like,
true.
I mean, I've kind of fucked its chances a little bit, but it is what it is. I don't want people to have to listen to us bullshit about a movie that they should totally see in sequence.
You got a couple more weeks.
Yep. Get your votes
Who
in
knows?
before the end of July. We'll see
Kai
what
Dawn
movie
make
we're
the
talking
comeback.
about.
Maybe.
In other Patreon news, we have a brand new mini cast available for you on Patreon. If you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to a bunch of Patreon exclusive content. We've got like over 40 mini casts on there now. The one that we just dropped is on Castlevania season 4. Juice, you talk about
God,
that,
season
don't you?
4.
I did. That is now, yeah. I've covered all of them, I believe, in the minicast.
Yeah.
So on the
I
$10
can't believe
level,
there's 4 seasons of that. It seems like it just premiered.
it dropped. I remember when I first started talking about the first season, Cesar was still regular on the cast because we
I
were
guess I
talking
was
about it
regular.
together. So I've now covered all 4 seasons, and it was the final season. They are going to do a spin-off show, I think, about like the descendant, maybe that comes after the fact. So it's going to be like in the future. But I like, I mean, you want to listen to the cast, but I have always, I think it started in 2018. I've always talked highly about this series, and it is 4 seasons now and complete with that section or whatever that series. So yeah, that's available now for you to check out.
I think the deciding factor for whether or not I'll ever watch that is whether or not they ever had James Rolfe guest star on an episode.
Yeah.
That would have
Well, now
made
see,
the difference
you
for
said
me.
that you watched that show. Didn't you?
Castlevania?
No.
I didn't.
The other one, the gods among men or something, where the Zeus fights. I talked about that one too on the cast. I thought you said, "Oh yeah, I was watching it." Okay, never mind. Maybe it was somebody else. Never mind.
Unless I'm misremembering, I don't remember what that is. So.
Okay, never mind.
Tight. That's really all we got for Patreon this week. Juice, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, last week it was a delayed Top 5 Tuesday because of the 4th of July weekend that we had. But last week I dropped a new Top 5 video, and that is Top 5 Seasons of American Horror Story. It's what I was counting down and kind of recapping. If you didn't know, the season 10 trailer dropped for American Horror Story, and that's going to be coming out soon. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's go back and revisit these previous 9 seasons and see how they kind of stack up against each other. So if you're interested in some extra horror content, you can find that at youtube.com/straight chilling podcast. And my house is clean.
Love it.
Oh.
My house is also squeaky clean.
And there we go.
This house is clean.
All right, without further ado, we're getting into the main event. We're talking Birdemic, Shock and Terror, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Hey, Bob.
Hey!
There's not a chance you would have this box, is there?
There is a very high chance that I own this film because I do, in fact, own this film. Birdemic, Shock and Terror. This was put out by Severin, which I was surprised to find out.
Why is that?
Because of what this fucking movie is.
I ask
It's
again, why is that?
nuts. So yeah, you can pick this up. It's pretty easy to find. It's also streaming on Amazon Prime if you want to slam your eyeballs into it. So this is, like I said, from 2010. This was written and directed by James Wynn. It stars Alan Bogg, Whitney Moore, and I love that Tippi Hedren is listed as starring in this movie.
In
We'll
like
get to
she's
that.
like third billing.
Yeah, not even close to starring in this movie. So this is actually on the back of the box. Best worst movie of all time. It is a tender love story, a graphic horror shocker, an urgent ecological warning, and around the world, it became the must-see midnight movie sensation of the year. From writer, producer, director, visionary James Wynn, the master of the romantic thriller, comes the story of a sexy lingerie model and a successful software salesman on a weekend getaway to a quaint Northern California town. But when the entire region is attacked by millions of homicidal birds, their picturesque paradise becomes a winged hell on earth. Can mankind now survive the avian onslaught of Birdemic? Hollywood legend Tippi Hedren on Hitchcock's The Birds makes a special appearance in the global cult movie phenomenon that Video Gum says, quote, might end up being the greatest film of all time.
I may
There
have
you
missed
go.
the Hedren appearance.
That makes
And-
perfect sense, by the way.
Okay, cool. I'm excited to find out where Waldo was.
Yeah, so again, big thanks to Michael for picking this movie. It's gonna be fun to talk about. Gentlemen, have you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randy, kick us off.
I think you know that I have not.
Sure.
No, I have not seen this film, although its reputation precedes it by far. It's a movie that's got quite the cult following for its badness. And it's frequently compared to The Room. It's frequently compared to like Manos Hands of Fate. It's in that category of movies that people watch to laugh at. And I've kind of backburnered this for a long time. It's a hard sell to get even my friends to watch this movie. So unfortunately, I waited long enough to where I had to watch it by my fucking self. So shame on me.
Which is not the way to watch this, by the way.
No, it is not an ideal way of watching this movie. So yeah, that leads into my recommendation, which is I would recommend this if you like things like Mystery Science Theater, if you like things like Manos Hands of Fate, if you like The Room, you have your reasons for liking it, and so do I. So watch it in that case, but do not make the mistake or find yourself in a situation where you're watching it alone, because what a shame that would be. What a damn shame. It's and make sure the people watching with you are like-minded. Otherwise, you are going to run them out of your house. Yeah, there you go.
All right, Juice, what about you?
I had not seen this film. I'm looking at Bob's box right now. I think the graphics on this box look better than the graphics in this film, to be honest.
And they don't look that good on the box.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say about this film. I'd never seen it before. And I watched it with a good friend of mine named Bob. And
Not that one.
yeah, and I would say we laughed like heavily through about 90% of this film, maybe more. By the time this film was finished, my body hurt. I kept mentioning like how sore I was.
Sad. I missed that. I was
Yeah.
texting you guys while we were
We were.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. It was
Or I
close.
watched
We
like
were about,
a half hour
20
prior.
20 minutes off. Yeah, but man,
And I was texting like so much, just like, God damn it, I can't wait to talk about this.
from the opening scenes. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, the very first scene, it was just bust a gut laughter. Absolutely.
It's jarring.
Yeah. So that's what I can say about this film. Bob.
Yeah.
Had you seen this? Would you recommend people check out Birdemic? This is the first of 3.
Yeah. So I'd never seen
The
this.
Sharknado.
Never seen this
Sharknado
before.
principle.
It I think you gotta watch it. I think you really need to watch this.
You think this is required viewing?
It's not quite required, but it's kind of close to
So
it.
this is like, it's like The Thing, Birdemic, The Blob,
Birdemic,
Jaws.
Halloween. Yeah. Top
okay.
3.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Desert
cool.
Island movies right there.
Oh my God.
This is
you would kill yourself 30% faster, is my guess.
possibly
You had
yes.
only this movie on a desert island.
If you dig MST3K stuff, and there is indeed a riff tracks for this on Amazon, if you want to go that route, you can do so. But this is on that level. Like this is a very poorly constructed movie that is just sort of mind-blowing to watch. It's very much an experience. It's hilarious, or at least I thought it was. I definitely recommend watching this movie with friends and with a couple beers. It's really the only way to do it. So do it. Do that now, please. Sort of a qualified recommend from the Straight Chilling crew. Let's go ahead and drop that spoiler warning, and we'll get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
We're just hanging out.
Dear God, Bob, please tell me that you have this type
wanna-
plot synopsis.
I need a beat for beat plot synopsis for this.
I hope
film,
this is the
please.
longest plot synopsis you've ever written.
It's short. It won't take me long to get through it.
Oh.
Sorry to disappoint, gentlemen. So here's the plot for Birdemic. Rod and Natalie cross paths a few years after graduating from high school. They both still live in Half Moon Bay, California. Rod is a sales rep for a tech company, and Natalie is a successful Victoria's Secret model. Birds soon begin attacking the city, specifically cars and gas stations, as revenge for the way humans have been abusing the earth. Many of the birds inexplicably explode on impact in a kamikaze-like fashion, and others are able to drop some sort of acid on humans from above. Rod and Natalie join forces with their new friends Ramsey and Becky to fight back with several machine guns that Ramsey has on hand. They go on the run, rescue 2 kids named Susan and Tony along the way, and they blast birds from the sky for quite a while. Eventually, the birds just retreat and roll credits.
So it's like The Happening with birds.
I put that same thing in my notes.
Maybe
This movie is like the Happening, except somehow even worse constructed of a film.
Whoa.
this is the birds. It's like Hitchcock came back from the dead and just made another
literally
movie.
this is even down to the setting. Like they go to Northern California. I've been to Bodega Bay, and I like, it's a small sleepy town. It's a beautiful place and all that stuff. But like this is, when you go to California for any amount of time, really, it's like a weird biome where you can pick it out in every movie from now on. And this movie is just nonstop, just California coast bullshit, like constantly. Man, it did make me miss going there, but whatever. But it's like, this is so much of a remake of Hitchcock that it's kind of unbelievable that they could get away with it. But it's so shoddy that I guess that's how their incompetence might have saved them a lawsuit.
Ooh.
This is the worst constructed film I have ever seen in my entire life.
I absolutely agree. I think it's the worst. Rob was asking me because we've had some bad ones on this cast. Ones that I've given zeros, which compared to this, like, don't really, from a craft standpoint, don't really stack up. This, I agree. This is the worst shot, the worst sound.
It's the worst.
The worst it is.
This is, I've seen worse, but they're all YouTube videos
Yeah, I've
and
never
shit
seen
like
a
that. Like,
full-length film that looked and sounded and was acted and written as poorly as this film. That's a fact. Like, for my own judgment, like, I can't think of anything.
I can't. It's hard to argue with that. It's hard to argue with that.
A lot of
I will
people,
tell you. Sorry.
I was gonna say, a lot of people reference Troll 2 as being like the best, worst movie of all time. And like, if you've seen Troll 2, that looks like fucking Scorsese compared to this fucking movie.
They can at least light a room in a few scenes. Like,
dude, can they at least hold the camera straight?
Dude, at least they can have a tracking shot that isn't bumpy.
Dude,
like it's on an RC car.
Like, invest in a $20 tripod. Because I would say, like 75% of the shots are just pans, either to the left, to the right, down.
Or back and forth.
It's like, just buy a $20 tripod.
And when they actually do like shaky cam, just like show like action or whatever, they do the same thing where it's like, it's only going back and forth, only back and forth. This is the shaky cam we get. Where in like Star Trek or whatever, it's like, it's a rumble.
Like a rumble.
This is just, they don't bother rumbling this shit for nothing. This is like, this person only has 2 directions in their arsenal.
Dude, the slow pan and the slow fade
out of control.
Are the keys to this
out of control.
This is the movie. So my experience with this movie was to figure out who was making this movie. And I kind of figured that out in like 5 minutes. This movie, to me, like, at least for a while, I thought I was on pretty close. I was thinking, okay, this is a movie written by a IT guy, filmed on his lunch breaks. And this IT guy is, in particular, quite the incel. That was my read on everything.
Poor dude.
No shame, James Nguyen. I think though that once the they really started hammering the fucking green tech shit, and they really started hammering. It became clear to me, like, oh, okay, no, it's all of those things except for the incel part. This is really just, well, I mean, it is what it is. It's somebody desperately trying to put like anti-global warming shit out into the world and doing it so incapably as to be laughable.
Yeah,
That's really like the crux of it. But still a nerd. Like this movie, I texted you guys. I couldn't stop thinking this. This movie makes you want to give the movie a wedgie. Makes you want to swirly this whole fucking movie in the toilet.
I will say that when we were done, we had such a like fun time watching this. We started watching the special features on Bob's Blue.
I watched some riff tracks after.
We were watching special features of Birdemic. Some of the special features
you learn some stuff.
Yes.
Include an electronic press kit, which I did not. I don't know what was on that.
Didn't click on that.
But we watched an interview with the director, which. Again, it was one of those situations where we were kind of talking about with Butterfly Kisses, where we're like, is this setting up a character? Because
is this for real?
Yeah, we couldn't accept the
this
reality
in
of
life,
what was happening.
In life is as unbelievable as this movie.
Yes.
We were like, wait a second. Because the way he talks.
No wonder.
The way he talks about this film has like a bit of swag to it.
Yeah, he's dead ass serious about this movie.
I love this fucking movie.
And like the interview was about 30 minutes long, and we put it on, and it looks kind of old, and like it was shot on like VHS or something. We're like, is this a bit? Are they doing a thing? But then it's like dead ass fucking serious for the entire. We watched the entire interview, and then there's a commentary track. And I was like, okay. Let me put this on and just like double, triple check this dude is as dead ass as I think he is. And he is fucking serious, like really talking about this movie as if it's like a normal Hollywood picture. And like, he's dead ass, man.
Oh my God. That guy really can imagine peace. He must be able to.
Dude,
because
that fucking website was advertised.
Dude,
Imagine peace.
So like, oh my God. It was nonstop blowing my mind. Each scene after scene.
I know, man. And nothing happens. That's what's so crazy. Nothing happens, but it's still mind blowing.
I couldn't imagine how each scene was just kept. Bob pointed out the mom was the best damn actress in this whole
Actually,
film.
yeah, she is.
Only one that
and that's almost certainly somebody's actual mother.
That is. I'm saying, like, that is her real mom.
For sure it is.
It's gotta
For sure
be.
it is.
And she kills it.
I love how it's funny. Randy pointed out like who he thought made this film, because that makes sense. Like going back and just
at the beginning, it feels that way.
It's written and directed. And just even the things, it like screams somebody who is out of touch a bit, because even things like, I just made the biggest sale of my career, $1 million. I'm a Victoria's Secret model. It's like the most basic things you could.
It's written like everything in the script is a placeholder. Like every part of it is a placeholder for something else. And then they execute it by doing things like, there's a shot. I was blown away. And this was almost like, this was before he even went to the restaurant, I think. But at the beginning of the movie. But our guy is walking down the street, and the fucking sound of his feet sounds like somebody crunching on some kettle chips.
Yeah, it was like the first scene. It was when he was fucking the restaurant.
Mind blows. Like, what?
Like dead leaves.
Like he's walking on sidewalk.
It's so loud. It's
also,
so loud.
Also, too, just the white background noise between dialogue shots.
Dude, I know, man.
Is unbelievable.
And he just drops it completely to zero after everybody's done talking. And also, every shot in this movie seems like it takes an extra 3 seconds of silence, silent awkwardness.
Also, too, there's shots. There was it a fade where I was like, holy shit, that's a car. So there's a fade where it goes from like two people talking in the living room, like the daughter and her mom, to like a shot in the office or something. I don't know. Those are just two examples. And
one of the boardroom scenes that accomplished nothing.
There's a car like
in the fade.
Had cut. Like he had cut.
How are you
something
supposed to
earlier
know?
And faded, and then just didn't
Yeah.
take it out.
He didn't crossfade it right.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
No, that's part of the opus,
There's like
dude.
a phantom car in the shot. You're like, what the fuck? There's
Oh my God.
also
So-
every scene that somebody is walking, you see them walking in real time, like getting out of their
Yes.
car, walking into the restaurant, walking up to the house, walking up to the office. Like,
How are
in
you
real
supposed to know
time.
how these people can't just appear places,
Dude.
Rob? This isn't Harry Potter.
Oh.
People can't apparate into a restaurant. You can't just cut to them in a restaurant. How the fuck did they get there?
You got to see
Rob?
him walk in. You got to see him.
There's-
You got to see the whole process: getting out of the car, walking down the sidewalk, crunching some chips, going in, sitting down, being handed a menu, and then you cut to some
Dude.
oblivious bullshit.
There's a scene where they're in an office, and there's like a whole office.
I want to go watch this again.
Yeah,
Watch it again.
I really
and like
wanna
I
watch
don't know,
it. We
the
should
guy's
stream
giving
it.
the guy's giving a speech or something like we're kicking ass or something, and like they all clap, but it focuses on like 2 or 3 people at a table and they're clapping, and then it goes to a different set of people and it's like they start clapping again. And then they do it like 5 times.
I actually didn't notice that one. I might have been looking down.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
not
writing
like
notes
a
on this one.
continuous clap. It's like each time there's a hard cut, people start clapping again.
I made a
And
big.
it'll
This
show
is,
the same people they already showed.
this movie is like somebody was writing it as it's being filmed, and I mean that like on set, like right in front of the guy. It's like, here's your script.
That's
Go.
probably true. That's probably what happened.
Also, Bob pointed out our main guy, there are several times where Bob thinks he's just reading from some cue card.
Yeah,
Oh
the way he
my God,
delivers
I'm
his
sure
lines
that's-
is like he's trying to read difficult handwriting. That's how it's delivered.
Like, and also too, it's like he'll get in a streak. Like he's capable of remembering one line at a time,
Yeah.
but then has to go back to the cue card.
Sorry, we need it. Sorry, we need it.
Oh my
That
god,
shit is so good. This is okay. So this is another movie where I had to write notes, and it was just to keep me focused because there was so much distracting bullshit in this movie, and I wanted to talk about all of it all at once. There's so much. Here's something I noticed. Did you notice that in all of the shot, like the fucking newsreels that they filmed, that was very clearly filmed like in somebody's garage with a projector over the lady's shoulder.
Oh yeah, with the green, yeah.
Yeah,
with the green
and
screen.
and the guy, he was watching it in his kitchen, but he was watching it on a full scale like 720p flat screen back when those were new, sitting
Yeah.
on his fucking kitchen counter, as of course we all have in our kitchens. That was like, it's like minor things like that like just scream DIY, and I mean I got to appreciate it on some level, but it is nuts.
Justin also noticed in one of those scenes with the newsreel, there was an image on the TV that was used.
Oh
and
my
god!
god,
It had the Getty Images
Yeah.
imprint on it.
dude!
Yeah, I was wondering what you meant by that. I missed
Oh,
that.
Dude, it was they
Had
were
the
doing
watermark?
the news scene, and in
Yeah.
the left-hand corner, it was showing like footage, and it said Getty Images. on it.
This is the kind of movie that like Velocipaster was trying to be. They had to
Right.
attempt to become this. No, that
There-
took effort.
There are websites where you can get free footage with no. That
It's also
is
very illegal. It's amazing that this, like,
Yeah,
again, I think
yeah.
the absurdity of this film protected it from lawsuit.
forgot about. Oh man, thanks, Bob. I forgot about that. That shit was wild.
I was going to ask you about that
Yes.
because you texted Getty Images like, well, I must have missed that, but I can guess what that
It was in a newsreel, and it was like
That's
the
so
left hand
funny.
corner, like there's a woman talking, and the left hand, like what she's talking about, just said Getty Images
Okay.
over the footage.
I'm going to read some random notes here. How about this? Oh boy, traffic. This really is California. This movie has a fucking full-on bird-based apocalypse, but people are still commuting as if it's like their normal work
Yeah,
day.
because people are just
They're just
driving. now.
driving.
It's just
Yeah.
real cars.
At one point, they're fleeing from some birds that are coming. Oh shit! Get in the car! Get in the car! And they're all running to the car. And then they very slowly get to the road and clearly are looking to make sure they're clear and trying not to hit the car in front of them. And then
Yeah.
slowly, not you would expect them to like that's a no cost fucking like action infusion to your movie to have somebody peel out of a fucking
Yeah.
like
They
it
got-
costs nothing to do that.
Also the band. Whoa.
Dude, they got no permits when they were shooting this, and like as
Obviously.
I was reading about it, they got kicked out of a lot of filming locations because they were shooting there illegally. And that fucking shitty like Ford Aerostar XL, the director paid $300 for that van, and it like broke down on them constantly as they were trying
Who
to shoot
could
this
have
movie.
guessed?
It's
that
a
would
piece
happen?
of shit.
And then he would
I
like
think that was the
write-
point, though.
He would write
Yeah.
scenes around the van breaking down. So your theory of it being written in real
On the
time
day,
is
yeah.
pretty correct.
Yeah, I mean that's not
ooh.
it's not that hard to discern, really.
Also, Jesus Christ, if you're capable of at least downloading a program that will give you free bird overlays, hit the auto button on the fucking color correction and let every scene is blown the fuck out. Blown out. Like, oh
I think
my
that's how it was
God.
shot. I don't know if
Dude,
that's like a correction.
Well, yeah, that's
thing.
true.
I don't think that there was no
Jesus
light
Christ.
meters on set for this fucking movie. I can promise you.
Dude, there were no microphones, so there's definitely no light
So,
meters.
yes. Yeah, they didn't have a lav mic,
Jesus.
so I'm sure as shit they didn't have fucking.
They didn't have a crew, like literally
Yeah,
was not a crew.
That's
That
what
was
this
part
movie
of the
really
trivia. Yeah,
Yeah.
is people that were in the cast had to do things like their own makeup,
So
and then he just made up names to fill out the credits.
as if they had like a DP, like
Yeah,
Jim Joe Burns, the DP. Like, I don't want to blow up all your trivia juice, but
no, go for it.
there was one bit that fucking killed me, and it was that all the craft services were like funded via 7-Eleven. That shit is
oh my god.
fucking like soda and crackers. You get like a hot dog, a roller
Yeah, dude,
dog.
you gotta get some Triscuits and shit.
Let me get that roller dog. How long's that been
Yeah.
sitting there?
How is this tornado? Anybody's tornado? Give me this tornado.
Dude, all
So
right.
here's a note. The singer. So we were singing the song. You guys were singing this song earlier. The
Hanging
singing,
Out.
hanging out.
Hanging out.
Yes. So let's focus in on that for a second. I wrote this.
Hanging Out or Just Hanging Out by Damian Carter.
So Damien, that's shocking to me. Is Damian Carter like? Is that so? That's the singer. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I gotta assume that because I was assuming that like when I was watching it that was it James Nguyen? James wrote this himself because I was like, this singer name checks fucking Big Mama and Uncle Phil in his fucking song. It's like
Nice.
a white guy wrote this about a black family without ever meeting a black guy. That's what I wrote down in my notes. It's like those are fictional fucking people. Does you like what are you fucking doing? Like that's
He's hanging
like
out
writing Darth Vader
with his
It's like writing
family.
just hanging out with hanging out with my family.
Yeah.
Darth
Also,
Vader
the-
eating tater salad. Ba-ba-dip-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba.
I don't know how long it took to shoot. I just read a note that said he spent 4 years making
Yeah.
this movie. So at one point, it's
Lunch
Halloween.
break movie,
Mhm.
There's
Yes.
like they're walking
There's like
around a
Halloween
public
parade,
space. There's
and
Halloween.
they need to
banners.
film it.
Then there's a like the next scene. It's St. Patrick's Day because
Yeah.
they're in an Irish pub where they're serving green beers and they're wearing green shirts and then they just sit
I did not
alone
notice that.
through this whole damn song dancing.
Dude, That
in
shit
an
was
empty
so
pub.
funny. That scene is so nuts. They're dancing to this song about families hanging out at a barbecue. This is supposed to be their love scene where they fall in love and fucking fuck at the end of the night. Is this sexy? Is this song sexy to you guys at all? Because you need help.
Yeah, it's my smash song from here on out. That's what I'm
Hanging
putting
out with
on.
my family
It's 6 minutes
is what I
long,
put
Rob,
on
so
for my
plenty of time.
69
Call,
sesh.
call me Uncle Phil, baby, because I'm getting
You're
laid.
scoring.
Uh-huh.
Calling up
I'm
Big Mama for this one.
Big Mama.
Oh my lord.
The fuck.
So this movie, like Juice just said, it took 4 years to make, and basically talking about shooting on your lunch break, it was filmed on weekends, like exclusively, and was completely self-funded by this
They went
man's
to a
day
Sorry.
job. Like he paid for it out of his own pocket through and through. So-
they went to a fucking Renaissance fair in this movie. Tell me this movie
They
doesn't want to
did?
be picked on in high school.
When?
Yes.
I don't remember
They
that. I remember
fucking
the
they go on a
giant
date
pumpkin.
to a Renaissance festival.
I don't
You guys
remember
missed that. They didn't do a whole lot there, but it was just another one of those like, oh, and now there's a parade, and now it's like
Oh.
like multiple dates sort of thing.
Oh.
And like it wasn't
Hmm.
even really a montage. They just kept cutting to different dates that they've had.
Nice.
Hey,
And one of them was at a fucking Renaissance fair. I was like, my God, this movie really wants to be picked on like a kid in high school. This is what it wants. It
Hang
wants
on.
it.
There's a whole nother group of people, and I want to talk about them. and
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay.
There's
I
so
doubt I
there's
have answers for
our guy, our main character guy or whatever, and he's got a best friend who he plays basketball
Oh my
with.
God.
And then there's
Basket
our
bro.
girl character, a woman character, and she's got a best friend who is a masseuse. Is that what's happening? Because they're in a hotel room, a shitty hotel room, and on the wall there is a white blank paper sign, like Dwight Schrute printed that shit out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
as if it's supposed to be a business sign.
Imagine
This
peace.
says Imagine Peace and then
thought the same thing.
imaginepeace.com.
Because he's
Pasted
supposed to be a
onto
horn
the
dog.
wall.
This character is supposed to be horny. He says, and I think it's close to verbatim, said something like, "A day not having sex is a day wasted, my man."
So was she supposed to be like a sexy masseuse?
I thought that
I
at
guess.
first, but then it turns out like that they were like dating. It seems like
Yeah,
because they had
but
seen
then
each other
they
a
were
lot.
like,
They had
well,
a
we gotta-
conversation like they were
we
like
gotta
going
get
on
back
dates.
to it.
Like, yeah, but she's in a bikini, by the way. That's the part you skipped. They
Yeah.
pan down and show her in a bikini straddling this guy. So I think, okay, so this guy, he's a horn dog. He went to Imagine Peace. I'm guessing this is a massage parlor, and this is supposed to be like the massage parlor that's secretly a brothel.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But then they start talking, and they're like, "Oh, your friend is actually dating Mike. Oh, that's crazy. We should go on a double date." Like, you're a couple? What is this?
Also, you're just
Did I-
in a shitty hotel room with a piece of paper plastered on.
I know. Maybe that's part of their kink, man. No kink shame, man.
Ooh, that was, and then
The
they
role
just
play.
they just end up dead in a car later, and she's
Dude, yeah, they
also
serve
just
no
wearing
purpose.
nothing in this movie has any kind of character. She's wearing a plain white t-shirt and in
Yes.
plain black text it just says
like-
ImaginePeace.com.
It's like
no
it's
style.
like Myriad Pro. It's not
Have you
even an
gone to that
interesting
website?
font.
I was
No,
trying to
I-
look at it on my
I'm
phone
looking
and
at
it
it.
was like something else, I think.
I'm gonna try and go there now.
I'm
No,
gonna- I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
do the
not
same thing.
loading. Imagine. Let me see.
Oh my
Imagine.
god, I can't imagine. Yeah, I got an error.
Oh wait, that's.
Oh, here it is. Oh my god, it's got a lot of John Lennon on here.
Yeah, that
A
makes
lot
sense.
of John Lennon.
It says tweets by at
Speaking
Yoko Ono.
Speaking of,
It's
I'm
Yoko
going to ask you
Ono's
guys.
Twitter. What is this?
They're feeding in Yoko Ono's Twitter because this
Okay.
person clearly has a fetishization for John Lennon and Yoko Ono because they use the karaoke rendition of Imagine twice in this fucking movie. 2 times. Did you guys notice that?
No, I did not.
No.
So in the rare occasion that this movie has music, it's either very obviously canned stock shit or it's fucking Imagine by John Lennon karaoke style. It is 100% like you can. Oh my god, I wish I could play it for you right now. It's so I again dodging lawsuits like fucking lawsuit Jesus.
That's the
because this
thing,
movie's
though.
so bad.
Everything it's just like the sign. It's white, it's plain black text. The shirt, white, plain black text. The free, it's like Getty Images. Dude, there are websites where you can get free shit that
Everything in
looks
this movie's a placeholder. Everything.
Yeah,
in this
and
movie is
then
itself a placeholder for
the
time in your life.
music. There's no reason to pick free music that bad. Like it's
That's not even like it was like seriously like a MIDI version of Imagine.
It was, yeah. Everything
Yes.
was like a Casio, like he pressed play on a
Yeah,
free
like
Casio.
the demo. Like
yeah,
the demo.
yeah.
Not-
It's like-
not-
It's like he took his
Ugh.
phone to a music store and found the cheapest keyboard Casio and pressed play on the demo and then just used that for the
Well,
soundtrack of his
except for
film.
of course hanging out.
Of
hanging out.
course. which is a quality
Hanging Out with
song
My
that you
Family.
should
Of
go
course,
listen to
yes.
on Spotify.
That's going
right
on
now.
the Straight
Right
Chillin' playlist
now.
for sure.
Halloween playlist. We're dancing to
So
it.
yeah,
It's gonna
I had
happen.
this. I wrote this note. Was this this as soon as so we see our guy. Let's talk about the story just a little bit, as in nonsense as it is. You see the guy. Who is? What's his name? I cannot remember. Guy. We'll call him Guy.
Yeah.
Guy Everyman.
Rod.
So Guy Everyman,
Rod.
salesman Rod, sure. So salesman Rod, he like goes into a diner and he sees this woman and he's creeping on this woman so hard as she's just sitting there like very awkwardly nibbling on a salad. She then stands up and walks out without paying, and he chases her down the street. And I'm like, oh my God, this is an incel fantasy. And I wrote this note. I wrote, was this movie made by Elliot Rodgers?
Yes.
Everything about this, like, it was written like when he goes on their first date and he's like, I forget what he says, but it's like shit, like it's like the most fantasy fulfillment bullshit of all time, where it's like,
Yeah, she better be good. What are you looking for in a woman? She better be good looking or something.
Yeah.
And
No,
is her body
she's
important?
like, what about sexy? Is that important? Of course, that's
Yeah.
what you want to hear, man, in this conversation. And he's like, he says all these things like, I don't think it's important to make a lot of money, but I'm a good salesman. I closed a great sale today.
$1 million.
Yeah, that's how he's able
Later
to
on,
afford.
they sell the company to Oracle, which is a real company, by the way. They name check fucking Oracle in this movie. It's fucking Fortune 500 company. And then they're like, we're selling out to Oracle for $1 billion. And I'm like, this movie only deals in absolutes. Everything is a placeholder. Everything is a placeholder.
In the most basic absolutes.
Yes.
He's got
Damn.
that Mustang
Everything
that he
is-
drives, and it's like the world's first and only hybrid Mustang.
Yeah, he's like,
Dude.
oh, it's a hybrid. And what was he said? It gets
Oh
something
my
crazy. MPG. That's
It's
he said
100 MPG.
130 MPG.
Dude,
Like,
and they
what?
specifically, like, they have like an RC car in this movie, which
Yeah.
may have been also served as the fucking tracking shot dolly. But they show, and they explicitly call it, I don't remember what the car was. I think it was like a Spider XL, blah, blah, blah. I don't know cars, but they're like explicitly naming cars. And like, this was made by a fucking lonely nerd. This is
Poor
so
guy.
clear. It's so clear. And and that's fine. That's fine. But it really read to me as incel bullshit. All of it.
Aw.
And I felt like
I
the
get
only
the
thing missing,
incel thing.
Now,
the only
I-
thing missing was her like brushing him off at the end and being like, sorry, I only date guys with big dicks. And then the fantasy would be fulfilled for incels.
I almost want to give a little break because the only reason I do is because everything is so basic. And so, like, even a conversation that you would imagine, what's the most basic rom-com conversation you could have? That's what I imagine it is. So yeah,
Does it
it's
include phrases like, if I could afford it, I would get at least a ton of them, talking about cats.
oh yeah,
That's
100
the cute-
cats. That was
Yeah.
2,000
She's like,
pounds.
oh,
worth of
the
cat.
mislead where it's like, oh, show me a picture of your boyfriend. I know it's your boyfriend. It's a cat. It's my cat. That's- Yes. Yeah. Somebody could have dreamt a scene exactly like that, and it would have been just as believable.
Also, in his interview, he described this as a romantic thriller, which he said that is like his style. I
That's
make
what he does.
romantic.
I mean, that's
thrillers.
the Birds does that, so why would he be
Yeah.
any different than the fucking Birds? Why? The only difference is he's able to explicitly name companies and cars and use Getty stock images.
This was this man's third feature-length film,
Are you
and it
serious?
still looks as bad as it does. Yeah.
What are the other two?
One's called like Joan and Jack or something like that. Which I guess we can get into the Tippi Hedren bit of information here. So Tippi Hedren was actually in that movie that he made, Joan and Jack, or I think that's what it's called.
What, really?
Yeah, she was in it.
Oh my
and
god, did he Ed Wood this shit?
Yeah. So there's a sequence where that movie that he made is playing on the television, and there's like a blip of Tippi Hedren on the TV screen because she actually was in that movie, and that's why she's credited in this fucking movie. It's called Julie and Jack. That's what it's called.
Dude, how did they even get fucking was she in a Walker or what? Like,
I don't know. So he did Julie and Jack, then Replica, then Birdemic, and then there is a Birdemic 2.
Well, yes, of course.
And
We have to know.
Severin is funding a Birdemic 3. There's gonna be another
Okay,
one.
see, this is the bloodthirsty nature of getting a so bad it's good movie. You know,
Mhm.
nobody wants to see The Room. Like, people do, but it's a bad idea to make The Room 2. Once
Dude.
the filmmaker is wise to their own incompetence and they start leaning into it, it gets to be really tiresome to see them try and find new ways to fuck up. Like,
Severin is also making a documentary about director James Wan. Like,
well, that sounds fascinating. I would definitely maybe this
Yeah.
guy is like, if he's as hardcore as you say he is, maybe he doesn't believe that he's like a bad filmmaker, and that's boy, that's something that's got to be in a medical textbook somewhere. But
I guess in 2016 or so, he started a GoFundMe to try and raise money to make Birdemic 3, which is called Birdemic 3 Sea Eagle. And he was shooting for $500,000 and only raised about $600, and then eventually just shut the
that's
GoFundMe down.
You know,
But
I
he's
talked a
getting
lot
the
of shit about
funding
this guy,
now.
but yeah, okay, yeah, true. But like, yeah, I don't want to talk too much shit about this guy because, you know, he's making shit.
He's
and
actually
he's doing
doing
it
it. He's
DIY
doing it.
style.
Yeah,
He
And I gotta
funded this
respect that.
himself.
You know,
Whoa.
you gotta fucking respect that.
I agree.
Like,
That's true. He's making
you
it
know,
happen.
And it's clear that he has principles that he is like. This movie has the heaviest hands of all time. This is the heaviest fucking handed movie I have ever seen in terms of its goals.
Oh,
So
we didn't talk about the treehouse.
I thought The Farm was bad, but yeah, Johnny Bark or whatever that guy, like Mr.
Johnny,
fake
that
fake-
wig.
fake
What
wig
was that
Jones.
wig?
Yeah, dude, Fake Wig Jones is out there. That
What's with these fucking names?
I don't know.
Also,
man.
oh god, we didn't mention the kids too, or Ramsey, my boy Ramsey, dude.
Who's
When they
Ramsey?
meet
I don't remember.
Ramsey, and then they get in the shit van and they start actually shooting the birds.
Oh, this
they
is the
use
soldier
this-
guy who hates swore.
They use
All
this
right.
same shot of this singular bird, like right in the center, getting shot.
Yeah,
Over
and then it hits with a
over.
really ridiculous thud. The
Yeah.
2 or 3 shots they show of the bird falling to earth. It goes. It sounds like a fucking NES, fucking 8-bit sound effect.
Also, some of the birds explode, like Bob said
Yes.
in his
Yeah.
plot synopsis. And there's one scene,
Yeah.
where they shoot acid over a bunch of people.
Dude, did they shoot acid or did they explode into acid? Because I thought they
Oh.
exploded into
I don't
Birdemic. Like, they
know.
don't mention, they don't
I don't know.
into a contagious, bloody thing. But it wasn't bloody. It was like piss colored. It looked like the people were covered in piss.
They probably were. It was
I
just
mean-
actual piss.
Yeah, and oh my god, that whole scene is nuts. Where they're trapped in a fucking double-decker European, like London style
Yeah.
bus,
Yeah.
and they refuse to come out when these people come in shooting to save them. Like, no, I don't want to. It's
No.
like, why?
Oh,
What are you staying for?
also,
Although, in fairness, they then get exploded fucking acid on themselves.
also
Oh, here we go.
Ramsey's girlfriend.
Becky.
She,
Oh, yeah, dude.
she gets taken out. Oh, she's taking a shit.
She's taking a
Yeah.
Taking a shit in a field.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
And they didn't pick up the TP. They
Oh my
left
god,
it.
dude. I can't even find that note because it's oh my god.
She's taking a shit.
Oh
Where's
my
Becky?
god.
Ah, she's taking a shit.
She's taking a shit. She's taking a shit. Also, these birds are capable of slitting throats. We see several dead bodies with slit throats, and then we see a guy who tries to hold them up for their gas just have a bird go shunk and slide by and slice him across his neck like a
scene
fucking ninja.
Right before Becky gets taken out for taking a shit in a field, they were having a picnic in a park. in
I
a whole
know!
Fucking bathroom.
Oh, I know.
A real bathroom.
Stop
And the
to
next
picnic.
scene, they're like, "Where's Becky? She's taking a shit."
Dude. Oh my
Poor
god.
girl squatting in a field, dead.
Dude, oh my god, there's so many notes here. Okay, how about this? Badwig Taylor, who is what I called him in my notes, was said something at the end of his little soliloquy about the Earth. He says, "Uh-oh, I think I hear a mountain lion. I better get going." And you should too. It's like, what? There's a fucking mountain lion? Are you not?
Yeah, why
the
couldn't they
slightest bit
just threaten
concerned?
the birds are coming?
Dude,
Not scary
what
enough.
the oh my god, that shit is so. And then there's a scene where they're driving up to a lighthouse, and they are about 100 yards, a football field away from this lighthouse. And the love interest woman, the model, says, "You see that lighthouse over there?" And I shat my pants laughing at that shit because it is fucking right there. Oh no, I don't see it. What are you fucking talking? What is happening? What is fucking happening?
Also, these
Oh,
kids
God.
are real pieces of shit.
Dude, I know. They get saved or whatever, and then they immediately feel totally chill just playing PSP.
Yeah. I don't want this. I want a Happy Meal. It's like, bitch, get out of here.
Shut up, bitch. I caught a fish. You will eat the fish.
Alice pointed out that they were like, they caught a fish and they
It
cooked
turned
it in
into
this like,
slurry.
they were like boiling.
They boiled the
Boiled
fish
the
whole,
fish.
and then it just turned into like pulled fish.
Fucking disgusting.
This is my famous
Who
fish
eats-
Oh,
slurry.
Boiled.
They were just boiled.
You can boil fish, but you don't like you steam fish or whatever. They just threw it in a boiling pot and just let it dissolve into just gray mess.
Nothing makes sense. It's like you can't even cook a fish.
Dude, they have fires in this movie, but they are also very digital, and they are stock digital again, always. Like everything is so stock in this.
Yeah,
Where's
it's like
Becky? Taking
dra-
his shit. That's
It's
in my
drag
notes.
and drop animation. Like that's
Yeah.
what the birds are too. The birds are just like flapping in one place, not really moving
This-
across the
the
screen as
same-
they're killing
The
people.
same sound
The
effect
same.
the entire movie of them screeching,
Oh
except
my
for the few
God.
times where they sounded like propeller planes or monkeys. There were also those mixed in for some reason. Like, what the fuck are these kamikaze jets?
That bird exploded.
Bird exploded. And
Several, not just one.
Yeah, there's a shitload of
I know.
all the time.
so fucking nuts.
Why?
So much-
Why did
I
they
wrote-
fly off at the end? Like they
Yeah.
just give up. What?
They get because the nice birds saved them because they got out of their gas guzzler, I guess, is what I assumed, because they were like doves flew in and started circling them, and then the eagles flew away,
Yeah, the
and
guy
then
with
the
the
doves flew away too. But they didn't say that. I assumed that.
the guy with the crazy hair wig, Johnny Sticks. He says like don't you see they're attacking people in
In cars.
big vans, big cars and burning lots of gas.
It's like, damn it, Rod's like, I should have brought my hybrid.
Yeah. It gets 130 mpg.
This fucking
PG.
movie is so heavy-handed. It literally mentions an inconvenient truth and has multiple lines of dialogue about it.
That was a good movie that we just got
Yeah.
out watching.
And
an
they also run
inconvenient
into an
truth.
ornithologist who points out that he's an ornithologist at least twice. And what that is also.
I'm so
and-
orny.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what that means. But he gives this like little soliloquy. He's like, "Well, gotta go," and just walks the fuck away. It's a bird pandemic they're dive bombing people. These people just had a picnic and happened across a fucking scientist to tell them what they're doing wrong. This is so great and so bad. It's so, oh god. This movie
It's
is
good.
laugh a minute. It really is.
It's
really is.
nonstop. When we first put it on, it was like the first 5 to 10 minutes maybe. Like we were still adjusting to the quote style of filmmaking or like lack thereof, and like we started laughing like hysterically. Like I started crying. I was laughing so hard at this fucking movie.
Yeah, opening scenes.
I don't blame you.
Just like you said, the sound of him walking on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
and then the cuts between the white noise and just
Yeah.
the unbelievable dialogue.
Oh my god. The reason that he doesn't have his hybrid, I wrote this in the notes, but I forgot. Hero fucking lost his car keys.
Lost his
the
key,
hero
yeah.
lost his keys. I wrote it in those words with those
Wow.
emphases. Yeah. Oh my God. And also they have a sex scene in this movie, but it really is just a making out until you pass out scene because they wake up the next day fully clothed in the exact same position. And that's when the Birdemic begins in earnest.
Rod ain't no Uncle Phil, am I right?
Whoa, he's not scoring.
He's not scoring.
He's not.
Damn.
For a second, when they got into the hotel scene, I was like, "Good Lord, is this movie gonna have Yabos in it?" Because man,
What a waste of your God-given talents.
Yeah. I was like, who did he convince? Good
Dude,
Lord.
I've seen movies this bad, but not as funny that do have boobies in them, and
Boobies.
it's
Yabos,
not. I'm sorry, I used the
We're
bad
yabos.
word.
cultured men around here.
They're called
We
yabos.
use the scientific term like yabos.
We've seen Hocus Pocus. We're adults.
God damn.
We're pushing
the
a
notes in
brand
this-
here. Sugary Yabos.
Dude, oh my
Yabos.
God. When he's saving the little girl from underneath the car or whatever, and she's like hesitant to come out because she just saw her fucking mom get eaten by birds. He's trying to wave her out, and he's doing so with the pistol. Like, come on out of there. Like, pointing a pistol at her fucking face.
That's how you do
kinda-
it.
That's how, I mean, if he really wants her to get out, he'll just say, get the fuck out, I guess. But he basically does. He's like this. And also the guns are 130% Nerf guns spray painted black. No doubt.
And they just fire
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah, and the way they fire is like they obviously the pistol sparks or graphics they put in, and they do so by just tilting their hand.
Yeah.
and shooting.
Everything in this movie is from a free pack, a free effects pack.
I think for sure we have made more capable films as bullshitting
Yeah.
high schoolers.
Yeah.
That was one text Randy sent out. I was like, yes, because he was
Yeah.
like, I have never in my life been more convinced that I can make a better film than what I've watching.
True.
Dude,
It's-
between the audio and the color grading and the shaky tilt and
This movie
Yeah,
opens with a crooked shot on somebody's dashboard. You can see
Yeah.
the dashboard. They are stuck in traffic.
yes,
That is it.
dude, it is not only
It's so
crooked,
long.
the dash takes up like a quarter of the
Yes.
screen and
Yes.
unfocused.
It's in our graphics because
dash.
that's where the title card lands.
Somebody literally pressed play on a phone and set it up on their dash while they were driving, and it just shook around.
And it was
and
good
the-
enough for the title card.
I was like, dude, you could film a better film with an iPhone. Like the footage you're getting is
Just show like
gosh.
footage of a bird in a tree. That's it. You could do that. Go to Getty. Even with the watermark, it's better than this.
Getty Images.
Dude, I wish there was actually, I pointed it out toward the beginning of the film. There's two clips back to back that were literally stock footage, and the only reason I could tell is because they're the only thing that was properly color graded. It's like a scene of, there's two scenes. It's a pan scene of they're on like a cliff in California or something on the hills, and it's like the ocean, and then there's one of boats, and I was like, this is stock footage,
Okay, so-
because it actually looks good.
This movie, to me, I had this thought, and I don't think I wrote it down, but I had this thought, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Tim Heidecker show Decker, which became an Adult Swim show after being on YouTube for a while, where it's like he's basically kind of like shitty MacGyver, but it's not like a well-produced show. It's like made to be bad. This movie feels exactly like that. When they're dancing to Hanging Out with Your Family, there's a scene exactly like that in fucking Decker, which is a show intended to be bad because it's written from the perspective of a fictionalized version of Tim Heidecker, who is a dumb asshole who is making this dumb fucking movie really incapably.
I want to say real quick, you mentioned Tim Heidecker. This movie got its world premiere at a movie theater in Los Angeles. It was like sponsored by Bloody Disgusting, and it was hosted by Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim.
Of course it will. Yeah, that makes so much fucking sense. This movie feels like even the song "Hanging Out with My Family" feels like I want to meet that dad.
I want to meet that dad.
Dude.
Da 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 da.
When they're in
Da-da-da-da.
the hotel and they get out and they're like, we need some weapons. And they all just take some fucking hangers.
Yeah.
And they're swinging hangers into the
It's good enough for Michael Myers, right?
Oh my
Apparently.
God. Oh my God. I lost
shit.
my shit. So,
I wrote when the birds popped, I wrote, ha ha ha, the birds just fucking popped on them like Nickelodeon slime. Jesus Christ.
That Tim and Eric also, like, I guess did a skit on their show, Tim and Eric Awesome Show, called Crows, that was sort of like a parody of this movie.
Really? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't remember it either, but I'm going to look it up.
I am so sad that I waited so long to watch this movie. I really am.
Dude, Michael finally delivered. He gave us what
really.
we needed. We didn't know we needed it, but
Michael
needed
has a
it.
habit of trolling us with his picks, and whether or not he intended to here, he actually gave us a huge treat, at least in my opinion.
And it's
I had
happened
a blast
like
watching this, and I watched it alone. So like, I only enjoyed it as much as I did because I was kind of shit talking back and forth with you guys a little bit. But it would have been so much better with people there. But it is, God, this movie is a fucking gift.
And it's happened a little bit before because he always picks movies that are like not good. So, but even like Deathbed, the Bed
wasn't
That
him?
Eats,
Yeah,
it was like
that was on the
okay.
precipice too.
I kind of dig on this. And then this movie, this takes the cake though. I swear, opening scene, me and Bob like bust a gut. Like I can't breathe within the first 2 minutes of this film, and that carried through 90% of it. And like by the end of the night, I just like my body was so fucking sore from laughing. It was unbelievable.
I will watch this again. Let's host a screening of this at Sunray.
Dude, I'm in. I am fucking in.
I'd do it. Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, busted gut. Oh my Lord.
I rip our reputations, but
yeah, we'll never be invited back again.
No.
It'll be the last time.
I mean, we also hosted Sleepaway Camp, so
yeah, but that's
at least at least that's
5
a classic
stars.
of horror. You know, like,
5 stars.
How is this movie like
Just
this movie isn't
razzing
horror.
you
This is really
romantic thriller is what it is.
Yeah, it's a oh yeah, that's true. It's a romantic thriller. It's also like, it seems like found footage. There's the Found Footage Festival. They have a show weekly, and they do this segment where they just scour the internet for unnamed files, basically people who upload things and don't bother naming them. So it's like IMG_036 and just try and find weird shit. This is like that kind of thing to me, like some random shit that you find.
There are just so many scenes that are just the first 30 minutes of this film is just people going on dates or going to work.
Romantic thriller.
Just succeeding. Like this, the whole first half of this movie is just people succeeding.
Just
like, oh wow, I got the big Victoria's Secret model. I was like, wow, I'll bet you look great in that lingerie. Wow, thanks.
Oh my God.
That's the dialogue in this movie. That is not me paraphrasing.
I bet you look great in that lingerie. Oh my God, thank you so much. I think it's time to land the plane or the bird. Let's land the bird. We're gonna be rating Birdemic out of 5 per usual. Juice, kick us off. How you feel?
Man, this is an enigma. It's craft-wise, craft-wise, it is the worst film I've ever seen. I like it's so I don't even know how you could make it so bad. Like I feel like auto buttons I feel like auto buttons on most free programs would improve this significantly in almost every way. Color and just being straight. You can straighten a clip. Like, oh man, it's obviously the dialogue is terrible, the writing is terrible. Every Getty Images, Jesus Christ. I mean, that really should sum up this film. Everything is stock free and is done with the most amateur touch like imaginable. I mean, it's like even the opening shot with the credits, it's like it's so out of focus and like it's oh my God, it's terrible. There's not one bit of respectable craft in this film that I can think of. Like, it's not. I'm like, I can't
This
think
movie
of.
cannot earn my respect.
You know what? The most respectable, creative thing in this film is that song that he used, the "Hanging Out with My
Hanging Out.
Family." That's the
Hanging out.
that's the minimum bar for creative integrity in this film.
Holy shit.
But I goddamn if it wasn't funny as shit. And that, I mean, enjoyability, I would watch this movie again. We were watching bonus features.
Didn't do that for Deathbed.
Directly after birds just flew off into the horizon.
That last shot too is like, feels like 10 minutes long of them just staring at the ocean.
It's forever.
It is.
It is a
And it's
lifetime in that scene.
Nothing changes. I don't even think the birds fade into the. I think they just
No,
like,
they
pretty
just
much
get
stay in the
smaller
same
and are
place.
perfectly crisp as always and badly rastered.
Just what you want.
Oh man, this
that's-
movie.
That's the artisanal touch. Mwah.
I don't know what to rate it. It's not good in any capacity, but it's funny as shit. It's really fucking funny. And not too many things make me laugh that much. I mean, it was fucking funny. And it just created so many like memorable moments. I mean, it really did, just like back to back to back for something so shitty. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll give it, I don't know. I guess I'll give it a 1 star. Solid 1 star. I want to say solid 1 star for Birdemic.
That is a really solid 1 star.
Yeah. The 1 star that it gets is solid.
It's a hard-earned star.
because it is straight laughter. That solid 1 star. So yeah. Bob had a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Birdemic. I think this is going to be interesting. I have no idea where anybody's going to land. What do you think?
So the way I typically try to rate movies on this show is like sort of half and half. I'm two minds about it. My general enjoyment of the movie is sort of like 1/2, and then also like the director's intention and like how successful the director was in realizing that intent is sort of like the other half, and like try to like combine those two to come up with some sort of rating here. And like we've already discussed, every aspect of the craft in this film is horrible. It's absolutely terrible. I do want to like be clear that I respect the dude for making a movie completely on his own dime, on his own time. Like he just woke up one day and was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm actually gonna make a movie. And he did. He made several movies. So like my hat's off to him. He's doing it. He just isn't doing it like with a whole lot of technical expertise.
He's not succeeding the way he expected, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. However, my enjoyment of this movie is like through the fucking roof. It is hilarious. I will be watching it again for sure. It's one that I will likely like force friends to watch, and they might hate me for the rest of my life, but it will be worth it to
watch it at my wedding.
Yes, exactly.
Right after Bigfoot.
So like those two married together, I think is going to put me at a 2.5, because it's like 0 stars for craft, but like my enjoyment is like a full 5 stars. So 2.5 right in the middle, I think, is where I'm going to land for Birdemic. This shit is nuts. Randy, how do you feel?
Well, I'm not a man of principle at all when it comes to rating things. Like it's very much how I feel in the moment. And we've had such a good time talking about it. I have been waiting to talk about this since watching it, and it's been difficult for me to not just like bullshit with you guys even more than we were about every plot point I had, or text you every one of these notes. I probably would have. I totally agree on pretty much everything. Rob, I also want to echo that sentiment that, you know, like as much shit as we've given this guy for, he's making this movie, and you know, like this guy has nothing, like you said, there's nothing really of quality here. With the only thing here that he started with a message and he worked outward, and it's bad work. It's real bad work, but it is fucking work. And he put in the time, he put in the effort. You know, I think that deserves some respect. I give him all the respect in the world for that. And I think I'm happy that he's experiencing some kind of success, in the same way that I'm happy that Tommy Wiseau experienced success with The Room. You know, like, good for them. You know, they didn't do it the way they planned on it, but here it is. That said, This movie is dog shit. This movie is total dog shit in every capacity conceivable by man. The message is the only respectable thing about it, but because of all those things, it is so perfectly inept in such an unbelievable way that this is the definition of a movie that's so bad it's good. There aren't movies this bad that are also this good at the same time. So I'm split because on one hand, I kind of want to vote higher like Rob and I kind of flip flop between both of your approaches when I was thinking about how I score this. Because in the past I have given just the 1 star for enjoyability for movies. I can't remember with what, but I think I might just split down the middle kind of and do a 2 because I enjoyed it more than 1 star. I can't in good conscience give it that, but I can't in good conscience give it even like a 50% rating. I don't think either. So I'm giving it a 2 star. I do want to just read a few more notes with my time here. Here we go. Oh my God, it's like a movie written by fictional character Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, which is to say what hacky sitcom writers think a hacky nerd script would be. God damn. Even after the Birdemic apocalypse, this California road has normal commuter traffic. Fucking damn. A bird slit a man's throat. Oh my God. Kids just got saved and watched their parents get eaten by birds, but they're still down to play some PSP in the car. Oh my God. Oh, and also wanted to point out, like, this movie does, again, take the cake for the heaviest hands of any movie we've watched. I thought The Farm was heavy-handed. I hadn't seen Birdemic. Just hadn't seen it. This takes the fucking prize. Anyway, 2 stars. I have so many more notes that I can't really sift through them, so.
Nice. With Randy's 2 star, that's going to put our aggregate at a 1.8 for Birdemic. Let's jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Birdemic.
Certified.
All right, guys, this is a challenge for a movie that I would not have expected to be a challenge. We have the Rotten Tomatoes segment here. I have Rotten Tomatoes pulled up for this movie. The way the segment works is I'm going to ask these gentlemen to guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate scores for both critics and users are on RottenTomatoes.com. So I've got it pulled up here. I'm going to start with Bob for the critics. There are 17 reviews here. So it does give a score, an average. It doesn't have any sort of like, I don't think that's enough to certify anything, but it's got 17 reviews. What do you think that the score is out of 100%?
Dude, it has to be like in the toilet low, like probably single digits.
Okay.
Real low.
Which single digit?
I'm gonna go. Give me a 9%, please.
All right, 9 in the toilet. All right. Soju, how about you? Where are you at with this one?
I think to make up for my 1 star, I feel bad everybody rated it higher than me. So I'll give it a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
100%? Wow.
It can't be much higher than that. Single digits. I don't know. We haven't seen too many movies. Oh man, but this would be 9 so low though. I'll $1 Bob with the 10.
10. All right.
Taking
Well,
the high end.
That was the right move. This movie has 18%.
Wow.
18% positive. Much higher than I anticipated. I was in Bob's camp. If I had guessed, I would have been down in the 5. Maybe.
Yeah. Have we ever seen? I don't know. I was trying to think of movies that we've actually seen in the single digits though. That's pretty rare.
It's super rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be the one.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh well.
Oh man.
Even so,
I'm gonna read.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I get a yeet?
Hell yeet.
All right. Well done. I'm going to read really quickly a positive review because I just read it and I think it deserves saying. Nguyen's DIY fingerprints are on every frame. Like The Room, it's the antidote to mass culture, a singular auteur with a dream. I think that's a real nice way of putting that.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, his
No,
fingerprints
she,
are
Rob,
on literally
sexist.
every
She.
bit.
They, whomever.
His fingerprints literally might be on the lens of this film at times.
That's very, very possible. Yes. So let's move on to the audience score. There are significantly more with over 1,000 audience ratings for this film. Soju, we'll start with you this time. What do you think out of 0 to 100%? What are the
I
odds?
guess more people are into this, but it's like it's that same predicament of like The Room, you know. It got such a big pop culture boost. I don't know. It's I guess I'll just stick with my guns and go low. But maybe I'll bump it up a scotch from 10. I'll say 20%.
20 percentile. Bob, where are you at with it?
I feel like it's going to be higher. I'm going to not like crazy high though. I'm going to go with a 30. Give me a 30.
30. Okay. Well, by a single digit, Bob's going to take this one. It's 26%. 26.
Wait, by a single digit? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, by a single unit, whatever.
He
single
said 30.
percentile.
Yeah, if it was 25, you would take it.
So he's 4 off your 6.
I gotcha. My bad. Maths. Quick math.
Maths. Yes.
Yeah.
People
Bob.
don't come here to learn maths.
Skeet.
Feels so good when you say that.
Around here, that means big money.
Fuck
All
yeah.
right, y'all. That's our Rotten Tomatoes segment. That's not certified anything, but man. Okay, wait. I'm gonna read one more negative review because there's got to be some gold in here, right? Right,
Yes.
for this movie.
Oh yeah.
So dull, incompetent, and ridiculous that it can and will be championed only by a repeat audience of ironists, and iconoclasts looking for the next cult film to worship. Okay, well that guy is a piece of shit.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
This is
I
high
don't know,
art.
man. Like,
Just taking a
what is he
shit.
like? It will only be championed by ironists. Oh yeah, people who like ironic shit. How awful to like something ironically. Fucking horrible.
This is pure cinema.
Iconoclasts? What do you iconoclasts looking for the next cult film? Yeah,
Randy took that personal. Now it's his favorite
do.
film.
Mhm.
it's a piece of it's like I don't know. It's calling people out as if they're being shitty for enjoying this film, which is eminently enjoyable. I mean, if you can't
yeah.
enjoy yourself watching this movie, I don't know what to say to you because it's fucking hilarious. It's truly fucking hilarious in every way that it should be.
Pure cinema.
The purest.
This
It's
is more
fucking pure as
successful.
water.
This is more successful film than that is a successful review. I'll say that.
Randy, thank you so much for leading
Yeah.
our Rotten Maters as always.
Taking it personal today.
We're getting into some trivia. Let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right. After the Sundance Film Festival rejected the film, James Nguyen put banners, fake blood, and fake birds all over his van, then drove around to advertise the film. Eventually, he caught the attention of Severin Films, which distributed the film. Did I say that right?
Severin.
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 No, Severin
you know
is
what?
the lead character of this movie.
This dude has dedication.
And balls.
I mean, he's doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, definitely. I don't know how you don't. I mean, we've made bullshit movies in the past,
But, yeah.
and we've done it in our spare time. If we had put enough effort into it, we could have probably made a feature-length film of this quality or better. I think better. But
better.
I would be proud of it, even though I know it's not fucking Casablanca. Like,
Sure.
you don't have to be ironically detached to just enjoy the act of filmmaking.
Yeah. To build off of that, when advertising for the movie title was painted on the side of a truck. It was initially spelled wrong. It read Birdemic.
They didn't forget a letter. Man. Don't let dyslexic Dave paint your truck. That's the moral of that story.
Fucking Dave strikes again. She's taking a shit.
Oh my God. While filming their respective love scenes, Whitney Moore and Mona Lisa Moon wear bikinis. James Nguyen had the actresses wear bikinis as he did not want them to actually have sex with their male co-stars.
Like they would really just start fucking? Like,
Now, you guys, I know you're gonna have urges, but please, we can't have you fucking. So we're gonna put some-
the reason I read it
barriers
is
on you.
because it reads like Randy's an incel, like
Dude.
Fury or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't you actually have sex with these men?
Don't do it. It'll drive me insane.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Elliot
Oh
Rodgers
my
bullshit.
God, dude. This shit. Whitney Moore auditioned for the role of Natalie in a high school parking lot.
Wow.
An hour after the audition, James Wayne called Moore to tell her she got the role. Ooh, thank God.
You know, I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Is it possible that there is not a single piece of trivia that is even remotely flattering and it's all embarrassing?
She in an interview after Birdemic was released, Moore joked that this should have been a red flag. Moore also said that the month she worked on the film was a miserable experience. Despite this, Moore reprised the role of Natalie in the 2013 sequel, Birdemic 2. There you go.
There's
He went back
apparently
for more.
I have not watched it, but there's apparently I mentioned this on a forum that I go to, and somebody said there is a visual effects company that went in and tried to correct the visual effects in this movie and got her to reshoot some scenes. So like I'm fascinated to see what that would look like, see what this movie could have theoretically looked like.
Dude,
But,
I can
I'm
take
sure
this
it's not
and,
going to be as enjoyable.
rip it off. If I could rip this off a download, I could at least color correct it and straighten it.
There you go. Yeah, you fucking
Um,
stabilize the camera a little bit.
Yeah, we'll put a little warp stabilizer on that bad boy. Guys, I'm about to blow your fucking mind.
Do it.
All right.
James Wynn was
This movie made
inspired
millions.
by The Birds,
What?
1963, and An Inconvenient Truth,
Whoa.
2006.
Wow. Oh,
I know.
wait. Why? What does this movie have to do with An Inconvenient Truth? What is that movie about? What could it be?
Do this specifically. It says the website imaginepeace.com, which is plugged throughout the film, is Yoko Ono's website.
Oh, it literally is just her.
It's just her website.
That another one of my theories I had after learning all this shit and seeing Imagine Peace everywhere was that this is made by like a grassroots like activist group. You know what I mean? The way that The Farm seemed to have been.
Yeah.
And that Imagine Peace was their website, so they were plugging their action committee or whatever. But it's not even that. It's not even that. It's a fucking Twitter feed for a wealthy, famous British woman. She's British, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, fucking God.
Wait, is the main character Rod the guy who makes the $1 million sale?
Yeah, that's Rod.
Okay, this piece of trivia
Mustang
says
Rod.
the character of Rod is patterned after writer director James Nguyen.
What?
Mhm.
I even thought that
Shocking to
maybe the
hear.
actress. I even thought that maybe the actress was his wife, and the kids in the movie were his kids, and he just like, coerced them into doing some shit with them. But no, oh my god,
Oh
dude,
man!
that is
All right, that's
You'd look great in that lingerie.
that's trivia.
I'll bet you would look great in the lingerie.
There's
That's as
more.
sexual as I get, ma'am.
If
I hope
you
you're ready
enjoy
for the
this
wettest
film,
kisses all night long that you'll ever
Ugh.
have.
What?
I
They were
encourage
like
you
the
to.
sound effects on that, like
I encourage you to check out the rest of trivia in your own time because some of the shit is wild, but we got to move on.
Yeah, she's taking a
Oh, man.
shit.
she's taking a shit. I think that's when they have the conversation where it's like, oh, so you were in Iraq, huh? And the guy's like, yeah, I don't know why we can't just give peace a chance. And then the guy dies.
Wow.
This movie, imagine.
For Randy, there was a deleted scene where the kid delivers the line, "She's taking a shit."
That would have been, honestly, that would have been more in line with that character than the other way than it is in the movie. So I'm glad that they chose the wrong path, as always.
All right, that's true.
Yeah, we're going hunting for Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'.
Cooter of the week.
You're on.
Juice,
That's
what-
still making me laugh. Sorry.
What's a Cooter and why are we hunting him?
Well, Bob, Cooter's a character type. I know you've never heard of it before, so let me break it down for you.
Thanks.
It's also a straight chillin' exclusive.
Ah, damn,
Cooter-
I was going to use it.
Nope, you can't, Randy.
Like
Only
croquet
straight
club.
chillin'.
Can't do it.
Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want a Cooter with the most points. The 5 points are manipulation, smug arrogance, sexual deviance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, this is going to be a weird one to fit with
It
this
is a
strange
weird
ass
one.
movie.
Yeah.
Is there a cooter in this movie?
So let me say that early in the movie when I was in, oh shit, this is an incel fantasy, like that was in that mode, I would have said Rod because of the way he like ogles this woman and then chases after her. And I was like, oh, just be like, she's saying everything that somebody who like, those are bad things to do, really, in my opinion, is to ogle somebody in a restaurant and then chase them out the door. Like, that's terrifying. But also like, I don't know. He also knew her, so I kind of like gave that or whatever. But like the way that every conversation went, I was like, man, this feels like it was written in somebody's dream journal or somebody's wish book. It's like, I wish this would happen to me. I shouldn't mention that. Never mind. I'm going to mention something to you guys after this episode.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's not something I don't think that I can reveal on air. It's about.
Then do not do it.
It'll be in behind the scenes.
Okay, cool. But no, I think that Rod kind of does because I mean there's some patheticness there to me. It's not written pathetic.
Mhm.
It just feels like a pathetic wish fulfillment thing. So I don't know, but that's the closest I got to a cooter, really.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
really
maybe
think there
Sorry, go ahead.
is one. I don't think there is one.
you think
Everybody's
the guy who
written to-
holds him up.
Even though the movie's bad, every character is written to be successful and heroic until
Yes.
they die.
Yeah.
But like
okay,
even
no.
even
Oh, I got one.
Ramsey, okay, he's got a bunch of guns. Yeah,
I got one
mean,
for you. How
okay.
about Basket Bro, whatever his name is,
Basketball Bro.
based
I mean,
entirely on the
yeah.
line, which was
a day without sex,
Yes.
is
Yeah.
a waste or whatever.
which I mean, I think he was written to be a cooter a little bit, at least to
Okay,
be a
so-
sexually like
Yeah,
sex-
he's a quagmire
carried around by his
character.
dick. Yeah,
Okay,
think
so we
that's-
could give him sexual deviance.
Yeah,
Because
if we're being
I
generous.
would say maybe we could give him patheticness if we actually knew what was going on in that
yeah,
hotel
that's a good
room.
point. We
Yeah.
don't know if that was like. It seems like by the end of the movie, because they're driving around together, that was nothing really. They
It's
just
also
wanted
just
to put.
confusing. Why are they plugging Yoko Ono's website?
I don't
no
know.
idea.
I
like
don't.
I
why.
have no idea.
So okay, so if that sign was gone, okay, so they're just in a hotel room, which could be just seen as their bedroom.
Yeah.
Then okay, they're a couple.
Yeah,
she was
they're
giving
just
him a
having
massage.
sex, whatever.
But
They weren't
there's
even
a
massaging, she was just
sign
lying on top
the
of him.
wall.
like
yes.
it's a business.
Yeah, like it's
Yes.
a business.
Like it's a bad business.
Yeah.
The old
I
rub
don't
and
know.
tug. You know what I'm saying?
And then, okay, smug arrogance. I mean, maybe he's a little smug. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, man.
it's
I
tough
don't
to say
think
because they
he's-
don't have characters.
We don't know
really.
enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he's capable of writing a character with the depth of Cooter.
Of a Cooter.
Yeah.
I don't- Man, that is a shallow depth.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Um,
think he's
yeah.
capable
It's
of
a
it.
shell of a cooter.
These characters
man.
aren't even cookie cutter. They're just like you said. They're a dream state
Yeah,
being.
they're just placeholder people, and they're like, okay, he'll meet somebody who's an activist so they can give this speech. Oh, he'll meet somebody
Yeah.
who knows, somebody who can talk about birds with knowledge so that they can say these because it's all about getting those few like soliloquies, those messages out, and promoting Yoko Ono for some reason. I thought for sure that was a fucking website for them, but no, it's Yoko. So those are
Yeah.
the prime directives of this movie: promote Yoko
strange.
Ono and promote the message. And they just wrote characters that aren't even stock necessarily. They're just nothing. They're just like placeholders.
Yeah, they're just tools to move.
Like,
you
that's
through
pretty
this
bad. We'll
terribly
do it
written
later.
story.
Like, yeah, we'll figure out something smarter later. No, they didn't though.
Oof.
Cooter free, I think.
I think cooter free.
Birdemic is cooter free.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be our first inconclusive? I feel like it's that.
Jury's out. Yeah.
Oof.
Not deep enough to convict, so we're gonna let him
Yeah, there's
let him
not,
off
there's
the
just
hook.
not enough evidence, you know. It's just,
Birdemic is cooter free. Let's go ahead and get into the cocktail hour of our show. We're gonna let our hair down. We're gonna get some little piggies and some blankets. Talking about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
That's Rob's foreplay line also.
Yeah, you want some little piggies in a blankie? Randy, what you been watching?
Boy, I had a really fortuitous week because not only did I get to watch this movie for the first time, but I also watched Bo Burnham's Inside for the first time, which I think I mentioned on the Slack. And I don't know Bo Burnham. When I watched this movie or this documentary, it was purely on the recommendation of a few people that said it was really great. And I've never watched this guy before. I don't really know anything about him except he's a particularly young comic, or he was particularly successful at a young age. That's literally all I know or knew. So I watched this thing, and it's I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a Netflix special that came out, and it's would have been like a stand-up special, but because of the pandemic, obviously that didn't happen. And he locked himself into what appears to be a guest apartment in his backyard and just wrote and performed all these songs and stuff. I guess he's also a musical guy, so he does a lot of musical jokes and things like that. So I came into this pretty cold, but knowing that it had a reputation for being really good, and it blew my fucking mind. I loved this fucking this special. It might be one of my favorite comedy specials ever. It may just be recency bias saying that, but I loved it because it spoke to a lot to the feelings of being in the pandemic. It's not a particularly feel good documentary. It's kind of a documentary about the creative process at the same time. I don't know, man. Again, it kind of has that DIY thing of it where it's just the one guy. He does his own lighting. He does really good. Like this for being one guy in a room compared to fucking Birdemic, which was one guy and several people that Birdemic, excuse me, that he was coercing into doing the stuff. Like this guy does so much with so little, like so much. He does beautiful shots, beautiful framing, like hilarious songs, and his voice is great. His songwriting is great. I've listened to the soundtrack over and over and over since watching this. It's great. Please watch it. For me, it spoke very much to my white boy depression during all of the unrest that was happening throughout the year and not knowing whether or not being creative is actually worth a shit. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, it touches on a lot of shit that I've thought about over the last year. And it clearly has touched a lot of people's thought processes over this last year. So recommend. Aside from that, I did watch the first episode. I have not continued watching the second season of I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, which is very funny. I like that show a lot. I don't love it to the extent that so many other people do, but I think it's a really fucking funny show. It's dumb humor. It's sketch comedy, if there are those who don't know. And it's mostly like dudes getting into really fucking awkward situations and just like doubling down as hard as they can on the awkward situation, making it more and more and more awkward as time goes on. So, but it's like absurd levels of shit happening. I like that as well. Loki ended, and I finally saw the last episode, and I would say that I was a little less enthused about the last episode as I was the rest of the series, but I think it's still a damn good series, and I was very pleased with it. It's a good show. I don't know what else to say about that. I started watching Dr. Death, which is based on the life of David Dunch, Dr. Dunch, who is serving a life sentence in prison right now for intentionally maiming people essentially on the surgical table. They think intentionally, but certainly in one case that's
some BioShock bullshit.
Dude, it's like not even close. It's not even as artistic as that. It's this guy who was so headstrong and so egotistical that he's like, if I just power through, I'm going to be a great what?
Headstrong.
You said headstrong.
Okay, sorry. I said a trigger word for Rob. But yeah, I don't know. It's got one of the guys from Dawson's Creek, whose name I'm forgetting, is the doctor, and Alec Baldwin's in it, and Christian Slater's in it, and Kelsey Grammer just showed up. So I don't know. It's not the best show of all time, but it's a fucking fascinating story, and I listened to the podcast it's based on. It's good true crime shit, basically.
Huh.
I would recommend the document or the podcast first though, because it's just the facts, and those are the most interesting thing about it. And then last but not least, I watched Jackass Does Shark Week, in which Steve Ho, Chris Pontius, and two of the quote unquote new guys that are going to be in the new film. I think they're trying to bring in new blood so they can continue the brand without these dudes falling apart. Anyway, they go out and they do Shark Week bullshit. It's clearly made by the Discovery Channel because it's got the insane amount of stretch for everything that they do. and it's not a good show or whatever, but they do little stunts with sharks or whatever. But at the end of it, there's like a serious injury that almost loses a guy his arm. So
Damn.
it's pretty nuts by the end of things. But because it's got that Discovery Channel cheese on it, it's not the best. I don't know. It was all right. But the rest of that stuff I was pretty excited about. So it was a good week for viewing for me.
Sweet deal. I got to restart this. We got delay, and I
Delay.
can't.
It's
Can't.
bad. It just hit like all of a sudden.
Oh, really? Am I
Like
delayed
when
right now?
we speak into the mic, our voices feed back to us at a
Oh,
weird
it's you.
delayed
Okay.
rate.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes
This is how the sausages are made.
Mhm.
in blankets.
In blankets. Hanging
That
out
fucking
with
Bo Burnham,
family.
man. That shit is so good.
Is that?
I just,
People have
like, I
talked
haven't
about.
been able
I've
to stop
seen,
thinking
like,
about it.
even you posted a clip. It was like the Disney villain. I've said it before. I have a hard time with kind of sketch comedy, anyways, because I get that like secondhand embarrassment. You know, like the cringe. I get that cringe factor a lot, and for some reason, I'm even more sensitive with songs because I feel like a lot of
Really?
times.
Do you not like? I mean, it's like
comedic
Weird Al.
songs.
Does that bother you?
I never was like super into Weird Al as a kid. It's fine like as an adult, but I don't know. I just like it. I don't know.
Maybe it's not for you.
Maybe
then,
I
but,
give
like
it a
for
shot.
me,
I
it's
have
like
heard
this
that
guy
it's
is.
good a lot, so I don't
It's
know.
like, and it's not
Yeah, I
all
really
singing.
get
It's
Randy
it's
for a minute.
primarily music, but it's
You're not gonna hear Randy for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can't hear you, Randy.
Hanging out. Hanging out.
Hanging out
With
with family,
family.
having ourselves a
So
party. Yeah. We're hanging out, bush, hanging out, hanging out, bush,
Hanging out,
family.
bitch. Hanging out, you bitch. Hanging
This
out,
is
you bitch.
why you come to the behind the
Hanging out, you
scenes.
bitch.
You don't get
Yeah.
this anywhere else.
Just right here. This is us hanging out.
shutting the
This is
fuck
us
up.
hanging out with our family.
Hanging out.
Fast and Furious style.
Hanging
family.
out. Oh, hanging out with my family.
Do we need to make a straight chilling meme? Randy's typing bullshit. You say
Rand.
can't get me to shut the fuck up otherwise. We need to make a straight chilling meme that plays off that new Fast and Furious meme that's blown up about family.
I don't know where oh, yeah. Hanging out. That's pretty great. I am down for that. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay. Well,
The Rock is Uncle Phil.
Hanging
I was
out.
thinking The Rock is Uncle Phil. Fucking Rodriguez. What's her name? Michelle Rodriguez is I don't know. Is Big Mama. I was
Big
trying to
Mama.
remember. I can't believe it's like they could have just said The Wiz, or like they could, pretty much could have said Steve Urkel's here. Like it seems like they were just picking up like black characters, not even celebrities, and just inserting them into this song about hanging out with your family. My boy Steve Urkel just joined
Ready?
in.
We good?
Yeah.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Juice, what you been watching?
Let me see. I watched a few things this week. One of the things I watched was a older Netflix true crime docuseries called The Keepers. It came out in 2017.
Is that
It's
the Catholicism one?
Yeah, and one of the reasons it kind of piqued my interest is because of the news about all of the Catholic churches, or the churches that are being burned in Canada right now because of like the bodies that were found.
Oh,
really?
No, I did
Yeah.
hear about that. I didn't know they were getting burned.
But
though.
now, yeah, people are like, I've had it with this shit. And like a ton of churches have been burned as a result of that.
I didn't know that.
Up in Canada. So that's the thing. And so I was like, oh, let me check out this one's called The Keepers. It's actually like 7 episodes, which is more than double the normal length of what they're doing them now. Normally they're like 3, maybe 4 episodes, but I will say it was super interesting fucking terrible, of course. I mean, we're watching a true crime docuseries, but I mean, just the extent of things. And of course, it deals with the main premise is there was another, it was murdered in 1969. So it was a long time ago. But essentially, it's really endearing in a lot of ways because there's these handful of her students. So she taught at a Catholic school, a girls' school. And she taught like, I don't know, not fourth grade, like ninth grade English. It was a high school or something. And these girls who were just so inspired by her, she was a nun, but she was kind of the youngest nun in the school. And like, she really inspired these girls. She was murdered later because she found out about some sexual abuse going on at the school by the priest, of course. And she was kind of, you know, help them and you know, get that guy arrested or whatever, and was killed for it essentially. And these women were like so inspired by her and all these things that now they are in their 60s and are still literally like spend their free time trying to get records, trying to get these things and just piecing all these things together. They have so much information, and the person who's making the documentary is so well informed that at one point he's like interviewing the director at the FBI, because it's still technically like an open case, I guess, because that person was never caught or it was never, you know, like on trial or whatever. And he's like giving information to the FBI guy. At first, sometimes the FBI guy's like, oh, that's classified. And he's like, oh, are you talking about like the cigarette evidence? And he's like, what the fuck? And like all these pieces. And then he's like helping the FBI. It's really like well done.
It's crazy how many documentaries kind of have an element of that, but it sounds like this might be more direct than those.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll just hear the guy asking the questions, like with people. He's like, well, what about this? And what? So it's really well made. It's rough stuff, as you can imagine, because then what it actually is the sexual assault victims, like the rape victims from the school who the priests were molesting, and like they went to trial at one point and piecing those, because there are all these girls who were teenagers at the time and they're adults now and don't even really know what each other know. So it's about them kind of like finding each other and putting all these different little pieces together. It's really interesting. It's called The Keepers. Heavy stuff, of course. We watched the Anthony Bourdain Roadrunner. I will say just it was inspiring, but also just very tragic. It like so many things I felt like reflected. It did an amazing job of showing a person you see as a celebrity or as an inspirational figure and showing them as a real person. And showing how one little decision kind of goes to another decision, and ultimately, unfortunately, if you know Anthony Bourdain, ends in a very tragic way. And it was difficult to watch because that is real, that is what really happened, but also I think important because the people that they chose to interview was his close coworkers, his close friends. And by the end of it, like, and not just the end, like throughout, like, God, I teared up like so many times for him and for them and everything. And it was a really moving piece that just kind of showed how important it is to take care of your mental health and surround yourself with good people and talk about things that are troubling you. So I really enjoyed it. It was very moving to me, but also very tough watch at times. I watched iRobot.
Wow.
On the other end of things.
Let's just flip that dime right over.
The switch. It's so funny to think back now and think like how the Matrix changed so many things for so long. And also I just like Will Smith. I mean, you know, he's a certain kind of character, and that movie, I mean, it holds up okay. Obviously it's from like 2003 or something, but
did it have Uncle Phil in it?
No Uncle Phil.
Damn.
But you know, young ass Will Smith. It's crazy to go back and watch him, you know. But anyways, that was kind of interesting to watch. iRobot, and I feel like there was one more thing I was gonna mention, but I can't think of it now. Shit, I don't know. Maybe I'll just save it for next week then. Bob,
Yo,
what you been watching, my guy?
couple things. I checked out a new release called Werewolves Within.
How's
It was pretty funny. It's a horror comedy, but it's very heavy on the comedy. It's obviously a werewolf movie. It got a small theatrical release, and it's also streaming like everywhere. So I rented this one on Amazon. I'd recommend checking it out if you want something a little lighter. I guess
The one with like the sheriff and stuff, right? Like
yeah.
centers around a sheriff. Okay.
Yeah, it's like out in the middle of nowhere. There's like a terrible blizzard that rolls through this tiny little town, and everybody gets snowed into this like hotel basically. And there's a werewolf hanging out, killing people, and it like
It's literally a game of werewolf.
it's exactly a game of werewolf. Yeah, everybody's trying to figure out who the werewolf is, and obviously the werewolf's trying to protect its own skin. So you're watching them sort of like point finger at everybody, point finger at each other, and it's like rapid fire jokes. Like it's actually very consistently funny and very enjoyable.
I think that sheriff is like he's in a show with Tim Robinson from that fucking I Think You Should Leave show, and he's also makes an appearance a few times. He's in a show called Detroiters on Comedy Central, which I watched a few clips of, and is also very funny. So I mean, these are like the new people coming in for comedy, I think.
Nice.
At least to me. Like,
yeah, there was a couple faces that I recognized for sure. I recommend checking it out. Pretty solid new release. Like I said, it's streaming. You can rent it basically anywhere. I also watched a movie called Hunter x Hunter. This came out last year, I believe. It's got Devon Sawa in it. It's currently on Hulu. That's where I watched it. You can also get it on Blu-ray. It's basically about Devon Sawa, and he, his wife, and their kid are living sort of off the grid out in the middle of the woods, and they've got like a little cabin they're living in, and they hunt for their food. They don't have electricity, and they just have like elected to live this way. It's sort of how Devon Sawa was like raised, I guess, and he just prefers to live that way. There's a wolf that shows up and starts. They've got like traps set around. They're catching like rabbits and shooting deer or whatever to have meals. And this wolf shows up and it's like eating everything that they're trapping. So that Devon Sawa's character goes out to like hunt this wolf one night, and he comes across this like really gruesome scene of like several like murdered women, and their bodies are like decomposing in the woods. And he's like very troubled by it, obviously, and things just sort of get crazy from there. I don't want to spoil the whole plot. I really enjoyed this one. It's a simple movie. There's only a handful of characters. It's a bit of a slow burner. I think it does pay off in the end, and it had me like fully engaged start to finish. It's always cool to see Devon Sawa doing some stuff.
Dude, you watch all those damn obscure Devon Sawa films.
Yeah.
Which is apparently all he does.
That's how he
Sawa
does it.
completist.
Yeah.
I'm a Sawa boy.
As you were describing it, I was kind of confused because at times it
Yeah.
made it sound like you were talking about Devon Sawa's real life. This is not in any way
No,
real.
this is fictional.
Devon Sawa as some character.
Yeah, exactly. The movie's called Hunter x Hunter. It's on Hulu. I also recommend checking that out. There's a couple new releases for you. Slam your eyeballs into them. Pretty good shit.
They both sound good.
Yeah, fun stuff. That's really all I wanted to mention. Let's go ahead and jump into our last segment here. It is our hotline screen.
Hotline screen.
If you were listening,
good rub there.
Yeah, man,
Good
get in
Just a
there.
little mang on mang action, right?
Work them shoulders, dude. I could seriously use a massage. If you're listening, would like to call and leave us a voicemail.
Imagine peace, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Put on your bikini, Juice. Get on my back.
I got it.
Your stained bikini.
It's underneath my clothes
Full of-
where it
full of
always
stains.
is.
Always.
Always. Yeah, if you want to hit us up, leave us a voicemail to be played on next week's show. You can do so at 904-638-3231. We got a handful of voicemails this week. First up, we're hearing from Jack. Let's hear what he's got to say.
What up, dudes? All right, so I'm calling back again. Glad you guys enjoyed my voicemail last episode. It was great putting on that accent. I don't actually talk like that. I do have a slight accent. I used to sound like that when I was a kid, and it was absolutely obnoxious. Regardless, you guys said grits with sugar with grits is a New England thing. I think Bob said that, though he didn't sound too sure of it. That's not true because like nobody up here eats grits. It's something about the Mason-Dixon line. That shit doesn't fly over it. I had actually lived in South Carolina briefly when I was a kid, and I had never heard of grits before that, and I've never seen it after that. So I don't think people up here even really eat grits or know what grits are. I'm sure like people eat them in some areas, but yeah, we don't eat grits. Sugar on grits sounds gross though. I had it, when I lived down in South Carolina, and they were pretty good. Nothing great. I mean, just eat oatmeal. I don't know what to say. Great to hear. You guys talked about Stranger Things. I'd like to bring that up. I think you guys should do like a retrospective because a lot has changed since Stranger Things season 1. I think everyone sort of agrees Stranger Things season 1's pretty great. I think it's the best, but I think it's great because it's so dark. When you go back and you watch that first season, it's different than the other ones. Like all the characters are slightly fucked up. Hopper like is a pill popping fucking sex having hound dog of like a police chief, and like you got like Jonathan who's like this like meek kid who's like you want to root for, but then he's like taking pictures in people's windows and being like a peeping Tom, and Steve's an asshole, and then he becomes like good, but he has like all these like everyone has depth to them in that season, and then in the other seasons it's just sort of like played straight. Everyone's sort of just happy go lucky, yuck kind of stuff. Even though everything's so dark, it's so optimistic. I don't know. That first season's special. I still think that's the peak of that show. They really should have just kept it like that. I could have done without the second season or the third season. It's brutal. I don't know. You guys should go back. It seems like you guys have sort of changed your mind because I remember back when you reviewed it, you were really high on it. Now it seems you're kind of like, I think it has to do with the pandemic. I think like all that 80s nostalgia throwback stuff, it's still sort of in right now, but I think it's just sort of like, what are we doing? Like, come on. It's kind of done and over with. I think COVID kind of killed that sort of pause on movies for a year. Everyone kind of had a self-reflection and be like, that isn't that great. Maybe let's get some new ideas in here, huh? I don't know. What do I know? They're probably going to remake all the shit. They're going to put fucking that Steve Harrington kid. They're going to put that kid in like Ferris Bueller's Day Off remake. Oh boy. All right. Later, guys.
Season 3 is the best.
No, it's not.
Hands down.
It's not. It's really not.
Like, yeah, I mean, I think Randy is definitely significantly lower in general from what it sounds like. A retrospective would be interesting. I still think, from what I've seen, I still think I would rank them how I ranked them as far as which ones I enjoy the most. So I still think I would go 1, 2, 3. I think they've gotten worse for me.
I agree.
But I'm pretty sure I gave the first one a 5. I don't know if I would stick with that. Probably the second season, which I think I gave a 4.5, would drop. I think that one definitely would drop. And the third season definitely would drop from a 4. So, yeah, I know it could be interesting.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, to me, it's like, that was a really interesting call, by the way. And I think that, like, he's right on about the character sort of flattening as time goes on, which is like, it's flanderization. It happens in most shows on some level. But it really seemed to happen pretty quickly. Like, there's a lot of... It's not even like, it's like, I guess the justification would be that these characters came together in season 1, for the most part. So then to have them in season 2, they don't really have their own private issues. They have the central issue only, it seems like, which they work on together. I don't know. And that kind of keeps going that way. And season 3 is so like beboppy, sugar-coated seeming to me by comparison that I don't particularly like it because it just holds less weight.
Yeah,
but
it's like eating, season 3 is like eating only the marshmallows out of Lucky Charms. It's so.
Wow, it's very specific metaphor.
I mean, it's just like the sugary
Oops,
coated
all-
thing that you said. It's like there's no substance there. It's literally all pizzazz.
It's literally
and
brighter.
Sugar.
Like
Yeah.
in every, it's visually
Yeah, so
brighter show.
it's like the equivalent of just eating just straight sugar when there should be something else.
Season 2 at least had some cool like Halloweeny moments. So
Yeah.
Season 3 is set in the summer, so it makes sense that it would be a little bit brighter. But yeah, it is like junk food, but I still like am engaged with the characters. I think they're still like giving incredible performances, and like they're
Yeah,
like
it's
new friendships happening and new characters introduced that are entertaining and funny. I
I
mean,
don't
it's
think that the show
not-
is bad.
No,
Like,
no,
I want
it's-
to point that out.
I don't think any of us do, but I feel like the whole show is like junk food. I don't think it changes that much for me, like for my experience with it. I mean, it definitely gets lighter for sure. It starts dark and gets lighter for sure, but that doesn't bother me anyway, because it's all like such a like rehash to begin with anyways, and the characters are still interesting and engaging.
See,
It kind
I
of
don't
goes from
think that
ET to
first
Monster
one-
Squad. It's
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, I don't think that first one's like so much of a rehash. Like, I know the inspirations that it comes from and stuff like that, but I mean, it really did feel like its own thing at the time. Like, I know, yeah, there's like ET scenes and stuff like that, but
Well, it's its own thing, the way Kill Bill's its own thing, even though every shot
Sure,
is pulled from
yeah.
another movie. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's a
So,
remix in some sense,
yeah,
but it kind of serves an emotional purpose, and to me, that makes it worth it. Like
Yeah.
there's an emotional
I
payoff for me.
agree. Yeah.
I don't really feel those in the other seasons.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Personally.
definitely feel
I
it
guess
in
we
the
just
other
did
seasons.
the retrospective.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? I just will give a quick shout out. For some reason, Jack talking about his message last week. It reminded me we haven't heard from 2 p.m. Todd in a while.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he's out there and he's doing okay. And if you're doing okay, you know, if you can't call in or you don't have anything to say, that's okay. I just, you know, kind of calling in, checking in on 2 p.m. Todd. We miss you, guy. I miss you. I
Yeah,
can't
maybe to
speak for
skip it.
everybody, I guess.
Yell at a Chili's from your
Don't
car.
speak for me about who I miss.
Randy
Okay,
does
no.
not
I mean,
miss you at all. 0%. I do.
Yeah, we have beef. Call in and give us your beef.
Randy wants to feel you.
I know you don't
deep
like O'Brady's,
inside.
but give us your beef anyway.
Get inside Randy.
Yes.
Thanks for calling, Jack. It's good to hear from you again, sir. Next up, we're going to hear from Luke. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, this is Luke. I chose Blood and Lace last week. I haven't called in before, but you explicitly asked me to, and I've now chosen 2 movies that have made you all, Justin in particular, ask what the fuck I was thinking, so I figured I had to. I also chose The Baby, if people don't remember. I guess I'm speaking for the niche demographic you all keep referencing, but I love 70s, especially early 70s, schlock, psychodrama, exploitation, that washed out look that Justin was complaining about last week. I love that. I love when characters have bizarre motivations, when they're not necessarily evil, but they are corrupt and perverted and twisted. Characters like Mrs. Deer are what really suck me into a movie. So I love both of these films. I guess if I'm able to pick any in the future, you'll get a further idea of what I like. Anyway, after your reaction to The Baby, I figured you wouldn't like Blood and Lace either, but I wanted to hear your reaction. My friend Leland and I do a podcast called Video Store Nightmares, and we've reviewed both of these films, but I don't know of any other podcasts that have, so I just wanted to get a different take. I wish you guys liked these movies, but I totally get why you wouldn't. So if people do like them, they should check out our cast. They're pretty indicative of the type of stuff we cover. Oh, and you asked how I discovered Blood and Lace. I bought a copy from a bootleg DVD site about 15 years ago. I've since found a Japanese VHS that I have now. But yeah, until recently, it was impossible to get in the United States. The tagline for the movie was shock after shock after shock, which makes sense once you've seen the movie, but that's what attracted me to it. Anyway, that's all. Just wanted you to know that I chose these movies because I really do love them. I'll keep sending flicks your way that are full of twisted, fucked up characters. All right, catch you next time. Bye.
So
Thanks for that explanation, Luke. I just wanted to say, like, I wasn't questioning. I was curious. It was coming from a place of curiosity, and I think that's why I always preface like my recommendations as I know that it's a specific flavor that I know there are people out there that like it, and because it is so specific. So, thanks for making us watch it because otherwise I wouldn't, and it makes me a more well-rounded critic. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and also I did actually look up Video Store Nightmares, the show that he and Leland are on, and I listened to their episode about Blood and Lace, and
Me too.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I kind of had the impression it's like, okay, well, this is not it's not poorly reasoned. You know what I mean? They have sound reasons for why they like certain things, or like it's opinion based, but it's like I can understand the perspective, I think. It's not my thing, and I don't think it's any of our things based on anything that we've reviewed from him so far. But I also am like pretty glad that he's bringing these movies to the fore, because this is a huge section of the horror canon, really. And it's whether or not we particularly enjoy a movie as a group does not necessarily preclude it from being worthy of discussion. So I am glad that we get to get these sort of oddball films. In fact, that's kind of one of the things I tried to bring to the party when we were picking outright back in the day, was sort of oddball things. Whether or not I had even seen them, just to kind of check out these weird things. And that's led to me to several films that I do enjoy. So, I'm glad. Keep them coming, man.
It's made us more cultured.
Yeah. Totally. More cultured.
Yes.
You ain't seen The Baby, you ain't cultured.
There's some fucking crazy movies.
Thanks for picking flicks for us to watch, Luke, especially ones that we never would have watched otherwise. We really appreciate it. Check out Video Store Nightmares anywhere you get your podcasts. Next up, we're going to hear from Simon. Let's hear what Simon has to say.
Hey, boys. So just talking about late night Waffle House trips made me think of my own little shameful Waffle House trip, and I thought I'd share it with you.
Oh, boy.
So here I was, 19. It was late November, and we were having a bonfire. Me and all my friends. And I was about 6 beers in, 5 shots, and a 4 Loco in. And I just wandered over to this guy's truck, and on the tailgate, I see a big bong. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I need. So I wander over, and I take a fat rip, and I just crawl into the back of the guy's truck and throw up everywhere. And he's like, what the fuck, man? Get out. So I wander out into the darkness and just fall out on the ground. My friends wander over, see me just passed out, and they just lay a tarp on me. So I guess they just, to them, I'm dead for the night, laying in 20-degree weather under a tarp. But anyway, about an hour later, I wake up and they're dragging me to my car, and I'm bawling my eyes out, just begging them to stop because I feel so sick. And they lean me up against my car, and they say, here's some water, man, you need to drink it. And I just pour the bottle all over myself, and now I'm wet, I have throw up on me, crying. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's the daytime. I'm in my car. I look around, no one's there. So I just drive to Waffle House because I feel like shit. And they call me when I get there, and they're like, where are you? I'm at Waffle House. And they're like, dude, do you have a change of clothes? And I'm like, no, why? And they're like, dude, you pissed yourself last night. So I'm in the middle of Waffle House eating, dry throw up and piss on me, and I probably just smell so bad. And the shame hits, I just pay and leave. But, man, those late night Waffle House trips, huh? But anyway, if you boys enjoyed that, let me know if you want to hear how Five Guys on Acid and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter don't mix.
Yeah,
Keep chilling, boys.
we want to hear about that. We do.
Yes, we're gonna a resounding yes on that request. Also, is it Five Guys the restaurant? Because that's how I read that. It's just restaurant stories. Five
No,
Guys
he said Five
on
Guys
acid.
on acid. Oh,
I know. I'm at Five Guys. I'm on acid, and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter walks in. Craziest night of my life.
Whoa!
I feel like that's such a relatable story, though.
I know there are
is.
definitely elements of that story that I've lived.
Yeah, he would say like sometimes be like, "Oh yeah, been there, my guy." Oh,
There was
yeah,
a nice
been
long
there, my
stretch
guy."
there where I was like, man, I might be this guy. This might
Yeah.
just be my alternate self talking.
How
feel like
did you live my life?
Being drunk as hell at a Waffle House is like a rite of passage.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's been there for sure.
24
Not
hours
everyone's
open,
pissed themselves before, but
the
you know,
cheapest,
there's
like
always time.
greasiest food to
Mhm.
carry all that alcohol
that is
out. Ooh.
honestly like there's a cult following of Waffle House that is strictly about it being drunk food. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're
I
clearly
mean-
doing something right.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like that place, but I know that's it's an outlier opinion.
It's
So
delicious.
Even me and Rob were just sharing like old 19-year-old drunken stories the other night. It's like that's life. You're living,
Four
my
Loko
friend.
hit me.
It
Hit
happens.
me in some.
I knew it did. I kind of
dude,
looked
dangerous
over you
territory.
You mentioned the beers and then the shots and Loco. I was like, oh,
And
man.
then the bong.
And then the bong.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Boy,
guys,
somebody
there's
knows me.
so much
Is
truth
this-
here.
Am I being punked? What's going on?
Ooh.
Yeah. So speaking of, why don't we make that our prompt for next week? If anybody's got some killer drunk stories that they feel bold enough to tell, please give us a call.
I like that.
Dude, it was G-Babies dropped.
That was
some
a good one.
crazy pissing
Yeah.
on the TV, wasn't it?
Dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a
And it had a good one.
classic.
It had a porn stuck in the VHS,
Yeah.
the VCR.
Get his porn
So
out.
he threw his whole TV over the fence so his mom wouldn't find his porn. Because he pissed and broke
Damn.
his TV.
So Simon, you're in good company. Don't you
Yeah,
worry
man.
about
This
that,
is-
my friend.
Put G-Baby
This
on
is-
blast.
Next week it's low class voicemails only, please.
That's some funny shit.
That's good shit, guys.
Thanks for sharing, Simon. You're definitely not alone, man. Definitely not alone. Smothered and covered. That's how we like Simon. Am I right?
Sure.
We got a couple of voicemails. We're gonna hold them for next week. Again, if you want to call in and let us know about your drunken debauchery, you can do so at 904-638-3231. We're gonna be back next week with a brand new show as always. This time we're gonna be tackling not one, not two, but three brand new movies. That's right. We're talking about the Fear Street trilogy next week.
Fear Street.
So watch all those movies. They are on Netflix. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at str8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to join in on the daily Slack channel conversations, let us know on one of those social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
ImaginePeace.com, 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 ImaginePeace.com.